Hey guys, it's Ben here at Strength Factory and welcome to the latest episode of Factory Knowledge, my weekly video series about all things action sports performance. And this week I'm going to teach you how to get the most out of this, your foam roller. So you've probably heard about foam rolling. Your gym probably has a foam roller. You may even have a foam roller. And if you don't, you can probably get one at your supermarket because it's really mainstream thing to do now. But what is it and why should we do it? And more importantly then, how do we go about doing it effectively so you don't just waste your time? First of all then, what is it? Well, this is one version, okay? And it's basically a whole range of tools that do similar sort of things. So for instance, I've got this mobility peanut, or you can use a lacrosse ball, a hockey ball, a tennis ball, and there's different types of roller as well. This one's mixed, it's like knobbly and smooth. You can get knobbly ones, smooth ones, all sorts of different stuff. Now, why are we actually foam rolling? Why do people say, oh yeah, you should foam roll to look after your muscles and things like that? Well, there's a number of reasons, okay? And the two main ones are, number one, recovery, i.e. we're going to use the foam roller to improve your recovery after training and after exercise. Because improved recovery means improved gains. The quicker you recover, the quicker you can train again, the harder you can go again, and over a prolonged period of time, it's improved recovery that gives you increased consistency in your training and therefore the best results from your training. The second reason that we're going to use a tool like a foam roller or the mobility balls and things like that is to actually work on specific issues and areas to improve our movement, our mobility and the function of our muscles. Okay, so if I want to improve my overhead, my shoulder mobility and upper back mobility, then part of the way I'm going to go about that is going to be using tools like these to loosen up and break down certain areas to free up my movement. First of all then, let's look at using the foam roller for recovery. And these techniques, this is actually what I see most people doing in the gym, whether they know that's why they're doing it or not. And it's more of a general approach where we're going to use the roller in this case across the length of the muscle. And what we're trying to do is a couple of things. Number one is to stimulate circulation. Okay, so if we improve and stimulate circulation through compressing and then releasing the tissue, the muscle tissue with the roller, then that's going to help improve recovery by helping to get waste products from exercise out of the tissue, as well as then helping to get nutrients and things back into the tissue to help repair it. So you can see there, I just showed you a couple of reps doing a basic recovery technique on my calf muscle. Now you'll see a couple of things there. Number one, I was moving slowly. You see people and they're rolling up and down. It looks fun, but it's probably not doing that much good. You want to roll slowly along the muscle. You'll notice that I didn't roll over any bone or joint. I started just at the top of my Achilles, above my ankle, and I stopped just before my knee. The final thing you'll notice is that I'm actually doing the rolling. The rolling always presses towards the center of my body. So I placed the roller just above the ankle, I put pressure on it, and then I rolled it so it moved up my calf towards my knee. I then go light to reset, and I roll again. That way we're always pumping the muscles out towards the center of the body, and that's just going to help with that recovery process. So I'm just going to show you again, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to get different aspects and sides of the calf muscle in this instance. So you can see there, I did all the things I said. It was nice and slow, I stayed off the joints, and I worked towards the middle of the body. And you'll see I started on the outside of that left calf, and then I moved on to the inside. So we're getting the whole area of the muscle, so we're really effectively helping it recover, helping to get all the surfaces sliding over each other and helping to get the circulation. So as well as the calf, we can obviously do these same techniques on, most parts of the body, but really the legs is where it's at for this sort of thing. It's those legs that are going to need the recovery, and they respond really well to this sort of work. So I'm just going to show you quickly how I'd go about doing the same technique on my quads. So, yep, foam roller is always working towards the center of my body. I showed you a couple of reps just on the inside here, and then I rolled onto the outside. And the final thing, well, two things I'll say about this are you control how intense it is with how much weight you put on the roller. So, when I do my calf there, I had my other foot on the floor. But if you can't feel much happening there, if it's not a little uncomfortable, then you just pile both legs on top of the roller, and you can then apply more pressure into that single leg that you're rolling. The second one I'll say is that whilst this is really about recovery, it doesn't mean you can't do it in the morning before you ride or something like that, just to help loosen everything up, to help get the circulation going, and you know what, if it feels good, then do it. So the second main use for your foam roller and all the mobility tools that we've got these days are for more specific issues and areas. So to improve mobility, to free up like knots in a muscle that you may call adhesions, or you might call them trigger points. And so we're going about it in a bit more of a surgical way rather than the rather general approach to recovery that I discussed just now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to work on an area on my quad using the foam roller, and I'm going to show you how we're going to just do a bit of work on like a tight spot, an adhesion, a trigger point, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so let's imagine then on the inside of my quad here, I've got that tight spot, and I find it by just going on the roller to start with. Once I found it, the first thing I did was the roller, I rocked on the roller, so my muscle was on the roller, that tight spot is on one of these knobbly bits, and I'm going to rock. Okay, so you saw that my leg kind of gripped onto this, and I rocked on the foam roller like this. Now I only showed you a few reps. I'd suggest you do 20 to 30 seconds rocking on that one spot. As you do that, it should become a bit less uncomfortable, because when you start, it's not going to be very nice. I'm then going to roll. So I've rocked, and now I'm going to roll my leg so the foam roller stays still, and my leg rolled like this again. So that spot, that tight spot here, is on one of the knobbles. So I rock like this, and then I roll like this. And then the final thing I did was I then held that spot on the foam roller and then I cycled my leg. Okay, so I'm cycling the muscle, and what that does is that effectively like pulls the muscle across this, because as I bent my knee, it pulls and shortens, so it lengthens and shortens, sorry, the quad. Okay, and then it effectively pulls it over the knobble on the foam roller like that. So I'm just going to show you again. Rock, roll, cycle. And then I'll just show you very quickly how you'd go about that on the calf. Rock, roll, cycle the muscle across the foam roller. So you can take that rock, roll and cycle and you can use that for the whole leg, so hamstring, calf, quads. You can use it in the glute as well. You sit on the foam roller like on one bum cheek, okay, and you rock on it, rolling it sideways, and then you can either extend the leg or to cycle the muscle, or you can leave that bit out. Now, let's talk a bit then about the upper back and shoulders, which are one of the areas that this and this are going to see the most use, especially given how much time everyone spends sitting down and hunched over their smartphones like this the whole time, okay? Because it's wrecking everyone's posture and it's bad news, okay? So, first thing I'll say is, with the foam roller, you don't want to be foam rolling your lower back, okay? Just ignore that. Imagine your lower back just doesn't exist at the moment, and yeah, we're not going to touch it with any balls or rollers or anything like that, okay? Just leave that. Maybe I'll cover that another day. Upper back though is another story, and it's very effective for doing that. So I'm just going to show you really simply how we can lie safely over the foam roller to help open up the upper back, i.e. your thoracic spine. Okay, so first of all, I just like to start with a general roll, and you don't really have to do that, but think of that as a bit like foreplay for your upper back, okay, just to get it ready for what's coming. I just find that it makes the whole experience a bit more pleasant when you lie back over it. I'm then going to put my hips on the floor and the roller across my mid upper back, somewhere just below the shoulder blades is where I normally start. And you see, I did this, okay, and that isn't because I just had a big breakfast. That is just to illustrate the fact that I'm bracing my stomach muscles, okay, and keeping this tight, because what I want is for my lower back to be stable, okay, and locked in position, so that when I lie back over the roller, I'm getting movement in the upper back and not the lower back. Because if I don't switch on this, then all that happens is I get a big arch here in the lower back, and then we don't get any progress up here. And this is what I see people doing all the time at the gym, is they just think, oh, I just need to lie back over the roller, and all they're doing is extending their lower back and probably hurting it instead of improving their thoracic spine mobility. So, stomach tight, your lower back should not arch or extend in any way. Just gently support the head, lie back over, breathe through the nose into your belly nice and chilled. Take some breaths, gently come up, and then I moved my hips slightly, you would have seen, so the roller is now a little higher up my back. And I always just try and do it like one vertebra at a time, you know, about that much, okay? And then I go again, stomach tight, support the head, lie back over, breathe through the nose, and so on. We're going to work our way up the back like that with the foam roller. We can use the peanut here in the same way. This is actually really nice because it's got a bit of give as well, it's rubberized, and this would go, imagine it's on my back, centrally, so it runs down the sides of my spine there, and you can use that in the same way, and sometimes you get some lush pops or cracks out of it, which isn't the goal, but I think is a nice side effect. So there's some basic techniques and an introduction to foam rolling, how, why and what to do. The last thing I'm going to say is about like your state of mind and just going into it thinking about your foam rolling and what you're trying to achieve in the right way. The same way when you go in the gym, if you want to get stronger, you need to be a bit fired up to really pull the weight off the floor, to rip it off the floor, to be aggressive, to be explosive, and that's how you get strong and powerful. The same when you do a yoga class, it's all candles and incense, yeah, to get you in that right frame of mind to get the most out of the session. And think of foam rolling and mobility work in general as more at that end of the spectrum, okay? So wherever you're doing it, you want to try and be in a calm state, okay? So nice and chilled, being present, thinking about what you're doing. You're not just like lying on the, I always see this, people are like lying on their roller, they're rolling and they're just scrolling through their Instagram, they're paying no attention to what they're doing. And well, guess what? Their results are going to be shit because they're not present, they're not understanding, and they're not learning about their body, okay? You need to focus on what you can feel and then how you then improve it. And then next time you do it, you're more effective at using these tools and techniques. I suggest that through the whole foam rolling, no matter which type you're doing, that your mouth is closed, so you breathe entirely through your nose into your belly, and you breathe as shallow and calm as you can the whole time, and that it's just a nice chilled out and relaxing experience, even when it gets a little bit painful. So I really hope that's helpful for you. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. If you've got a friend who's constantly on the roller, checking their Instagram, give them a slap and send them this video. And yeah, share this around, because foam rolling is a really useful and cheap and affordable way to help look after your body. I'll be back soon with more factory knowledge. Don't forget to hit subscribe.